Welcome to the Broadway Drumming 101 podcast, where we share what it takes to build a successful career as a musician in musical theater and beyond, with your host, Clayton Craddock.
Welcome to Broadway Drumming 101. This is Clayton Craddock, and believe it or not, I have no guest today. It's just me and you. First, I just want to say thank you for listening to this podcast for so long. Started in 2021, and it's still going to this day. I have a lot of great people I'm going to be talking with. I'm going to be sharing a lot of great information with you. So I appreciate you listening. And please, if you could do me a favor, leave a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps push the podcast to people that might find it valuable like you do. Also, thank you for subscribing to Broadway Drumming 101. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes to the site. And also, thank you to the people that came out to see me at NAMM. I had a great time meeting all of you there. And also, thank you for everybody that contributed and helped me create the book, Broadway Bound and Beyond, A Musician's Guide to Building a Theater Career. It came out on January 19th. You can get it at Amazon.com. You can also get it at signaturebrandworks.com, where you can get signed copies on that site. You can also get a lot of merch there too, with some great stuff. But what I like to share with you today is something that I just wrote for the site. It's called Should You Say Yes to Every Gig and How to Know When It's Time to Say No. When I first moved to New York in the early 1990s, actually 1993 to be exact, I did whatever I could to get out of my little apartment in Jersey City and get into other places where musicians were playing. I said yes to just about everything. Rehearsals that paid barely anything, if they paid anything at all. I did the long drives. I played late night gigs. I played gigs with kind of sketchy areas and with sketchy setups. None of that was glamorous, but it all mattered in the long run. If you're new to a place like New York City, LA, or Nashville, this is what you should do. Early on, your focus really shouldn't be on picking the perfect opportunities or guarding your time. Your main goal is to just get out there. You can't build relationships from home or meet people by just staying in your practice room. You need to be where the music is. In fact, I wrote an article on Broadway Drumming 101 called How Do You Break into the New York City Music Scene? And in that post, I shared with you dozens of places where musicians are playing right now. Places where people are hanging out, places where you can go connect with people and see all kinds of music. The thing is, nothing has changed from back in 1993 to the way it is to this day. People go out and meet people in their natural habitat. Things are a little bit different now. Yes, I can understand that. With social media, you can post videos of yourself playing, use good audio and good lighting, and share your best takes. Yes, I get that. And sometimes that can even lead to work. And I've seen it happen. This fall, I did a tour with a group called the Rock Orchestra. It was great. Believe it or not, some of the musicians and some of the singers were discovered because the people in that organization found them on Instagram. So yes, online visibility does matter. But there's a big difference between being seen online and being known in person. What people usually share online is a polished version of themselves. Usually they're representative. They want to put their best foot forward. And after a few takes, people put their best version of themselves on social media. But real life isn't so perfect. When you show up in person, people notice more than just your playing. They see how you listen, how you handle pressure, how you deal with mistakes, and whether you're prepared and adaptable. And they want to work with you if you're a cool person and if they like you. That part really can't be filtered out. Yes, you can get out there and put your representative out there first, like you do on a date. Put your best foot forward. But after a while, just like when you're dating, you're going to find out what the real person's like after a while. Certain things can't be filtered. That's why I believe you should get out there, meet people, and say yes to almost everything early in your career. When you're just starting out, gigs are more than just jobs. They're practice. They're reps. You can improve by playing more, working with different people, feeling uncomfortable, and learning how to adapt on the spot. You might sit in at a blues jam and someone likes your playing and then ask for your number, or nowadays, Instagram. Can I get your Instagram? Week later, they may call and say, look, I got a gig. It's about an hour and a half away. It pays $100. Can you do it? And you say, yes. At the beginning, I think you should almost always say yes. You make it work. You drive that long way away, and then you show up ready. And this puts you in front of new people. It gives you more experience and gets your name out there. Maybe someone in that band or in the audience may notice you, or maybe nothing happens right away, but over time, your name will get around. One small gig leads to another, then to new bands, new calls, and new connections. And that's how you build community. I talked about this when I did my presentation at NAMM. It's not about getting out there and exchanging business cards or Instagram, but it's about meeting people and getting real connections. Real connections, I believe, come from real people trusting your playing and enjoying actually working with you. I think every meaningful opportunity in my career came from relationships just like that. One of the most important relationships for me was with a guitarist named Matt Beck.
We'll get back to the episode in just a minute, but all of us here want to take a moment to say thank you for supporting the podcast and for listening. We also want to let you know that Clayton's new book, Broadway Bound and Beyond, A Musician's Guide to Building a Theater Career, is officially out, and we're really proud of it. This book lays out what it actually takes to build a career on Broadway. The mindset, the preparation, the relationships, the money side of the business, and how to create longevity instead of just chasing the next gig. You can get your copy right now on Amazon.com. You can also get a signed copy by heading over to signaturebrandworks.com. If you're serious about your career, this book is for you. Now let's get back to the episode.
One of the most important relationships for me was with a guitarist named Matt Beck. We played in a band together back in the late 90s, every other Friday night, I think, at a place called the Ramada Inn in New Rochelle, New York. It's a suburb of New York City. It wasn't glamorous. We played for the same 20 people, playing the same 20 songs, Dancing Queen, Don't Stop Believing, all that kind of stuff. We played together, supported each other musically, and we were just talking shop in between sets. And Matt one time asked me, hey man, would you be interested in working in musical theater at all? I never really even thought about it. He said, I know about a show that's going out to the Rio in Las Vegas for 3 months. Then it's going to be doing an 11-month tour all around the United States. He said, are you in? I said, hell yeah. So I left. I had a great time and saw the United States. It was amazing. 10 months in, Matt Beck said, hey man, I know you're on tour, but would you be willing to come off of tour? I have this show called Tick, Tick, Boom. It's going to be me on guitar, Conrad Adderley on bass, you on drums, and Stephen Oremus on piano. Would you be interested in coming off tour? I said, hell yes. So I started doing that show. And a few months in, Stephen Oremus, he leaves. He comes back from working on some other show that he was doing. And his shirt said something. I say, what's that all about? He said, oh, it's this show that I'm working on now. I said, oh, man, what's it called? He said, it's called Wicked. I said, oh, good luck with that. It all seemed to work out with him, just like it all worked out with me, because Tick, Tick, Boom was written by Jonathan Larson. Jonathan Larson was the person who wrote the show Rent. Jeff Potter, the drummer for Rent, found out that I was playing Tick, Tick, Boom. He said, hey, man, would you like to sub for me at the show Rent? I said, hell yeah. That led me to sub for Rich Mercurio on Little Shop of Horrors. That led me to my second off-Broadway show, Altar Boys, and eventually my first Broadway show, Memphis the Musical, in 2009, and then with Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill with Audra McDonald, and then Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, and then now to Cats the Jellicle Ball. But none of this happened because I was chasing Broadway, but it was because I said yes to a Ramada Inn gig that most people probably would have ignored.
Before we jump back into the episode, we want to ask a quick favor. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, please take a moment to leave us a glowing 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Those reviews really matter. They help other musicians like you find the podcast, and all of us here truly appreciate the support. We also want to let you know that we've got new merchandise available now at signaturebrandworks.com. We've got backpacks, sweatshirts, t-shirts, sweatpants, mugs, tote bags, hats, beanies, mouse pads, and a whole lot more. Practical stuff you can actually use, whether you're heading to rehearsal, the gym, a session, or just living your life. Thanks again for listening, for supporting the show, and for being part of this community. Now let's get back to the episode.
But here's the thing. There will be a time when saying yes to everything will start hurting instead of helping. The trouble is, no one tells you when that moment comes. There's no announcement, no promotion, or clear sign that you can start being more selective. And if you miss that change, you might stay busy, but you will feel stuck. Still saying yes out of habit while better opportunities may be passing you by. Knowing when to start saying no is just as important as knowing when to say yes. But it isn't obvious or easy to figure out. That's where real strategy comes in. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to BroadwayDrumming101.com. And when you subscribe, you can read the entire article. And while you're there, you'll be able to read every other article that I posted, as well as listen to every other podcast episode that I've recorded so far. Don't forget to get my book, Broadway Bound and Beyond, A Musician's Guide to Building a Theater Career, that's available on Amazon or at signaturebrandworks.com. Thank you for listening to the Broadway Drumming 101 podcast. My name is Clayton Craddock. More to come soon.